That's what I like to hear.
But also, my mic check's not working.
All right, here, we're going to get going in just a minute. We're waiting for Mike Costa, the last panelist, to hopefully show up before we get going, but we'll get rolling in just a second here. You know what, let's get things moving. Mike, enjoying the progress and we get going. So, hi everyone. Hello. Thank you for coming. I'm Chris Ryall. I'm the editor-in-chief at IDW, and let me run down everybody on our panel here today. First up, we have new Transformers artist Kale. And also making his IDW debut today is new senior editor Barber. Also say New York Times bestselling writer / new editor Barber. Then we have editor Denton Tipton.
I'm also editor of the show.
We have a couple of New York Times guys. And then we have Guzman, Transformers editor. Transformers artist Livio Ramondelli. And then G.I. Joe editor and our senior writer in the office, Waltz. All right, so until the end, we're not going to do a little thing. My job up here is basically done, so I'm going to turn the panel over to everybody else. We'll just let them run through all their projects. I think we're going to start things off with Transformers. Woo! Yeah!
All right. How many people are here for Transformers today? Well, Transformers is right there. Let's get started. So the first announcement is that starting this month, Transformers is going bi-weekly. That means you're going to be able to get 2 Transformers books a month per month. So that's all kicked off for Transformers 22 and 23. The storyline is called Chaos Theory. It's written by James Roberts and Alex Milner's drawing. The first issue is actually out now, so you can go pick it out on the floor or at your local comic book shop. It is a story of Optimus Prime and Megatron's origin, and it's pretty damn sweet, if I can say so. So we actually got some art for it to show you guys right there. I mean, Alex Milner just packs this stuff so full of details and Livio for fans. If you've been with our series for a long time, you're going to love this storyline. And then right after that, we finally kick off officially our big Chaos event with Transformers number 24. That one's being written by Mike Costa and James Roberts. And we got Livio Ramondelli on the art on that one. Woo! And that one is going to be huge. I mean, they go back to Cybertron and things get really crazy with the art. Yeah, you make that out? Well, you could make that out. You can see that everything is going insane. So, well, you can't see it because otherwise your brains would probably hurt right now. Go on. And here we got Transformers 25, which kicks off our other storyline, Police Action. That one's also going to be written by Mike Costa. It's going to be drawn by Kale, who's right here. And that one takes place on Earth, following Ryall, as he kind of has a police investigation going. Let's show some more. Yeah. Some sweet pages from Brendan. Good stuff, man. And in the last one of the books, from here to December, we're going to have this handy checklist so you can see what comes out when, in what order everything's coming out, and so you know all the issues that you're going to be collecting. And then, come December, we have our big Transformers 125. Now it's 125 because we added up all the Transformers books that we published with IDW so far, and this one hits squarely on the number 125, so it's kind of our big event issue. Because with this one, our current ongoing comes to an end, and this one's being written by Barber and James Roberts, and being drawn by Nick Roach. It's called Death of Optimus Prime, so can't tell you any more than that, but it's going to be big. There's my cousin. Hey, that's a LeBron.
Good job.
Hold your tie that I was going to take you.
Then, January, we have our first all-digital comic book, Transformers Autocracy. That one's going to be released on a It's on a bi-weekly schedule, about an 8-page digital comic that we'll be able to get every 2 weeks. And this one's also, well, it's being written by Chris Messer and Flint Dillon, and it's being drawn by good old Livio Ramondelli right here. So that's our first book in January, but that's not enough Transformers, really. So in January, we're also launching our brand new ongoing. And that one's called Transformers Robots in Disguise. Being written by John Barber, drawn by Andrew Griffith. We'll be launching in January, but that won't be the only series launching in January, because we got a second ongoing being written by James Roberts and drawn by Nick Roach. So we're going to have 2 Transformers ongoing, and we're going to keep the bi-weekly schedule going from here until a little while longer. So starting in 2012, you're going to be able to get a lot of Transformers. It's going to be pretty big. I'm pretty excited about this.
So wait, before we move on there, let's talk to Mike a bit about what you've got planned. I mean, so your run's coming to an end soon.
Yes. For all the people who are my fans, sorry. No, at the end of Chaos, we came to a point where it was sort of a big, almost a finale, and definitely it started at the beginning. We had talked about launching 2 new series, and we wanted James Roberts and obviously John Barber. At the time, before John was hired, to be the big editor as well, we wanted him to do some Transformers work as well, and I thought maybe it was time for me to step down, because I feel like I've told my story and where Transformers is going to go from that point on. I think they're much better suited for than myself, but I'm going to stay on Cobra until they fire me. So I'll still be on these panels, and I think that you guys are really going to like where I leave Transformers. It's really it is the end of the story that I meant to tell, and I never really thought past this point, and then when it came time to think past this point, I realized that I hadn't been thinking about it, and I didn't really have any ideas, and the stuff I came up with, their stuff was a lot better, so it was time for me to go.
But I think it's safe to say you leave it in a place that the Transformers have ever been before. I think it's really exciting. What happens in Chaos is pretty unbelievable. It's an amazing finale to how many years was it? 2 years? Great stories.
Yeah. It'd be greedy to stay.
Yeah, just to back up on the whole thing. So this whole plan came about, this big status quo change came to Transformers, came about as a result of that guy. So if you don't like it, blame that guy. Outgoing editor Andy Schmidt. But as part of that plan and part of our Transformers movie efforts, John was brought on to write, first the movie books, and they were great. Like the prequels he did were very well received, and I thought they were very well handled. So we thought, going forward, he's got a really good feel for Transformers. Let's bring him in. Let's have him part of this new direction. And then a couple months later, it sort of came about that Andy was moving on, and then John turned out to be the perfect fit for the job. But I just wanted to be clear that John was brought on in that capacity as a writer because he really had a good take on the books and where he wanted things to go. And now, we're overjoyed to have him come on as an editor as well. But I just don't want anybody thinking a guy comes on and hires himself. We hired drawing as well. Yeah. And then John, I don't know if you, I don't think we want to give away too much of what goes on in Chaos other than, Optimus Prime's dead. But, if you want to talk a little bit about what you might have planned for your book and,
Well, James and I have been working really closely together on where we take Transformers afterwards. So people have been asking me, are you going to stick with Andy's plan, or are you going to bring in sort of a new plan that you came in? And it was the plan going forward is one that Andy, myself, James, and Michael work very closely together and put together. So it's one I'm very happy with and very excited to be a part of. I can't really tell you what happens without giving away what happens in Chaos. I can't tell you enough how much Chaos is if you're not reading Transformers, the current issue is a great jumping on point. Chaos is a great point to come on in the series. If you are reading Transformers, Chaos brings together, I think, everything. Between Chaos and Police Action brings together everything that's been going on for the last few years to just really draw all this stuff together. Other than James and I are coordinating our two series very carefully, and they center around the clash of ideologies. And other than that, I can't really tell you anything about it.
Should we bring Tom up? Tom, ready to talk G.I. Joe? All right, Tom Waltz.
We sort of had a triumvirate of G.I. Joe editors at this point. So Andy was working on some, Tom came in to help out, especially when Andy was moving out, and Carlos has been running this Real American Hero book and then helping on the other ones. So everything will stabilize and shake out when John comes aboard and gets more involved in all of these things. But Tom's been doing a great job alongside Carlos, so he'll run you through where we're at and where we're headed, and then see if John scrapped that entire plan once he comes in.
And then I start writing Cobra. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
All right, my name is Tom Waltz, like they said. At IDW, they call me the big fat bald Duke.
It's not Duke.
Really, yeah, really. That's not true. They don't call me Duke. So anyway, G.I. Joe. I want to give a little background on G.I. Joe beyond what Chris had said. Andy Schmidt, Chuck Dixon, and our old Mike Costa here have a plan in place that is actually in progress right now called the I'm thinking of the new name. So we're trying to get a new Cobra Commander, right? Does anybody know the story behind how they get a new Cobra Commander? It's a simple plan, right? Whichever Cobra operative kills the most Joes. So in the books right now, what you have is some kick-ass action with a bunch of Cobras trying to kill a bunch of Joes, and a bunch of Joes trying to figure out what's going on and also defend themselves.
We've been running a death counter on our website if you want to keep track of who's going down when.
Like Chris said, I kind of came in on Joe by accident since Andy went turn traitor on us and left. And I have a military background, so I thought everybody thought, oh, you'll be perfect for this. But it's kind of like Transformers. You get into the middle of Joe and you realize there's a lot of characters and they're doing a lot of things. And I was overwhelmed at first, so I obviously had to do a little research. And when I found out by reading and going over what they've been doing, these guys have a great plan in place. And this is, if you're not reading Joe, then you're not reading good comic books right now, because this is what action comics are about. Don't think of the 80s cartoon. This is popcorn action, summertime movie, fun stuff that everybody should be on board for. And I can't recommend enough, and this is the jumping out point, this current event. So, continuing on. What we have here is the G.I. Joe, the Cobra Civil War going on. We have three main books running right now. We have the G.I. Joe Ongoing, which is written by Chuck Dixon. The artist right now is Javier Salteras. In September, we've also got a new artist coming on board, Will Rosado, who came recommended through Chuck and is turning into some fantastic pages. The nice thing about right now with the show, you're going to see a diverse group of artists drawing the characters, and we're having a lot of fun with the storyline. And I think it lends itself to having different artists sometimes, because there's so many different characters. To see these fantastic takes from all these great artists is wonderful. Chuck Dixon is also writing our other ongoing, which is Snake Eyes. Right now we have an issue 5 coming out. That'll be drawn by artist Alberto Muriel, who's coming in to take over for Robert Atkins. Robert will be back eventually. He had another project that he had to step out to. And then with issue 6, we have another artist taking over on Snake Eyes. His name is Casey Maloney, who has done some work for IDW in the past. These are some of Alberto's pages here from issue number 5. And as you can see, as I'm talking about, it's really boring. Nothing's happening. Nobody's shooting any guns. It's terrible. No, it's awesome. Mike Costa is writing Cobra. Cobra's fantastic. That's the word for it. If you are reading at least one Joe book, read Cobra. Honestly, and I'm not saying you're with Chuck. Chuck doing is fantastic too. But Chuck's not here. Chuck's not there. Chuck, he'll punch me later. But no, all the books are great. But Cobra is something that I think people, when they first see it, are pleasantly surprised and probably shockingly surprised. Our new artist is Werther. I'm going to try to say his last name. Dara. We just call him Werther. And he is starting in September, and we are getting wonderful pages from him. He's similar in style to Antonio Piso, but he brings his own kind of unique element to the books. And again, the storyline is fantastic, kind of science type writing, and I really recommend it.
Yeah, you want to
Antonio is back.
Antonio will be back. So basically what's happening is Antonio's been just cranking out the pages, needed a break. He works closely with Werther, recommended Werther to come on and fill in for him on a few issues, and Antonio will come back. So I think Antonio actually has already started drawing issue 7.
Yes, yeah.
And we'll talk about Waltz.
Yeah, so the first Cobra storyline ends with issue 4, and then we start the new one with issue 5, which is that's the first page there at the top. Which, if you guys have read issue 1, you might recognize that it's sort of a callback to the first page of issue 1. In issue 1, it was the Baroness at the top. In issue 5, that's Eric Valentine, that's Chameleon. So we're back on the Chameleon character for the second arc of Cobra. She doesn't appear in the first 4 issues, but she is a part of the book, of the family of the book still. And whereas the first 4 issues sort of focused on what everyone in Cobra is doing, the next 4 issues focus on how G.I. Joe is responding to the revelation at the end of issue 1 that Cobra has someone on the inside of G.I. Joe. And now we have sort of the opposite of my very first storyline of Cobra ever. Instead of a G.I. Joe agent in Cobra, it's a Cobra agent in G.I. Joe, and that's what issues 5, 6, 7, and 8 all deal with. And Erica is the one or Chameleon, as she's known now, is the one who's assigned to ferret his personality.
And what Mike's doing with Cobra, I guess the closest comparison I can give it, this is going to sound odd, is if you're a fan of Seinfeld always found a way, it'll make sense. Seinfeld always found a way to take something from the beginning and at the end tie it all together. And so it all makes sense at the end. And Mike's building this giant puzzle, and the pieces are all falling into place. So from beginning to end, you're getting this complete story that it's just one of those, every issue is one of those, I get it now. And it's a fantastic way of doing it. It's amazing, the plot is.
That is such a nice thing to say.
They don't call me the great big fat bald dude for nothing. All right, so you know what? I'm actually going to let Carlos talk about Real American Hero because he helms that one.
Real American Hero is going to start a new storyline with issue 170. It's going to cover a special operation that Flint, Lady J, and Roadblock are on, while at the same time dealing with some new Arashikage ninja clans with the Snake Eyes story. It's pretty good stuff. I mean, I've read about 4 scripts into this that Larry's written, and this is probably the most action-packed arc that I've read in that book in a long, long time. It's some really, really great stuff. If you guys read Real American Hero, or even if you don't, hop right in. This is the point.
And even though they don't really call me Duke, we really do call S.L. Gallant and Gary Erskine machines because they crank it out, and it's fantastic. I said that word a lot today. I gotta need a new word. Cobra Command. So we are searching for a new Cobra Commander. We're trying to kill as many Joes as we can to get to that point. We will get to that point. Somebody will be the new Cobra Commander. And our next event that is in the works, that is the mastermind of Mike and Chuck and Andy, we have to give them credit, I guess, is going to be the next big event. And so starting with issue 9s for all 3 series, we're going to have what is truly a true crossover, meaning all 3 books, the storylines are united, and we have one artist, Alex Cal, who will be handling the artwork for Snake Eyes, Cobra, and G.I. Joe. This will be probably the most cohesive event you've seen in a long time. Chuck had said that was his dream, to have an event book like that, a crossover book, where there was one artist, everything was the same. And so the work Alex is doing on these books, he's already started, is wonderful. And I think this will be a very shocking event. I mean, it's already kind of a huge deal that we're going to go with the new Cobra Commander, but what happens when we do have that new Cobra Commander in place, I think will go above and beyond in a very violent fashion getting to that point.
Who's the leading bug getter from you guys? Who you guys leaning toward, Cobra Commander? Come on, you listen.
Rupert Murdoch.
Starscream.
And with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Denton, and he's going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Hello, everybody. Can you come in and adjust this?
point out, if you guys are Transformers fans, you probably want to stick around to the end. I mean, if you're not,
Very
you
good
want to
point.
go, but I would recommend.
You love Transformers, Justin. Don't leave. Okay, you're good. All right, hear me all right, guys? No? Okay. Are you guys live out there or what? Come on. Get an answer. Can you fucking hear me? No? Okay, too much drinking. Okay. Okay. All right, so you guys are awake now. Andy, I'm not going to bust your balls because you had very little to do with Dungeons and Dragons. You did bring us IDW, which is just tremendous because he is a fantastic artist. Okay, they're already cut me off, so. And Mike Costa had nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. He didn't write anything. This is the only property from Hasbro Mike hasn't touched. So. Okay, you can. All right, so Dungeons and Dragons, just like Transformers and G.I. Joe, Dungeons and Dragons was huge in pop culture in the 80s, and now we're in the 21st century, and we're getting texts during panels, and we're trying to bring the property into the 21st century with new and new. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, and to that end, we're going to go to the next slide. And we're doing the very first original comic book starring the Dark Elf Drizzt Do'Urden. That was, yes, we got a Drizzt fan right here. Excellent. And it's actually going to be written by the creator, R.A. Salvatore. Yes, and is with his son Gino, who they also co-wrote some young adult novels together. And the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes artist, Augustin Padilla, was going to be doing this, and he does action like no one else, so I think you're going to really enjoy the book. And we've got great covers by Gonzalo Flores. This is his painted work here, and he does a lot of work for Wizards of the Coast on Dungeons & Dragons and Magic. And we also have Tim Seeley of Hack Slash fame doing covers as well. And here's a 2-page spread from the interior by Augustin Padilla. Very nice. There's a little flashback going on here, going back to the Gauntlet Grim novel, and this story will be set during that era. And the first issue is also going to have a module edition, just like the first issues of Dungeons & Dragons and Dark Sun. So you actually be able to play part of this comic book as an adventure, so it's a lot of fun. And also coming in August, we've got the Drizzt Omnibus, and this collects the Dark Elf trilogy, which is the first, well, not the first 3 novels, but the first 3 chronological novels. And it's $25 for more than 400 pages, so it's a fantastic bargain, and that's scientific fact. So, moving on, we got another collection of the Dark Sun miniseries. It's hardcover. It's going to be the same size as the game manuals. It's also going to collect the module edition that came with the first issue. And the next slide, please. Moving along. Here we go. This is issue number 11. We're closing out the second story arc with another module edition. This brings to close the, not the Shadow Plague, that was the first one. This one is the Feywild story arc. It was supposed to be 5 issues. It got bumped up to 6 because we had a whole lot of story to tell. And so that pushed the next arc back to issue 12. Next slide. And this arc is all about Kale, Dwarven Paladin. He's received some news back from home, and he has to go back and take care of business. And that'll be a 5-issue arc. This cover's by Steve Ellis, who'll be doing variant covers for this entire arc. And rounding out our line, we have the reprints of the DC Comics series. September, we got the second volume of the Forgotten Realms Classics. It's great stuff written by Jeff Grubb and an artist who might be familiar with Rags Morales. He's working on some, what is that, Action Comics Award or something coming up? Yeah, but this is where he cut his teeth, and you can really tell his progression from the beginning to the end of the series. And we'll be checking that out. We'll be filling out all, I think it's 3 or 4 volumes, but we'll be reprinting the entire thing. And also, we're reprinting the Next Dungeons and Dragons series, and the second volume is out in October. And we got Jan Dracima doing new covers. She was the original artist as well for that. That's pretty exciting. And, well, next slide. Well, I'm happy to announce that we've added a new addition to the IDW Hasbro family. We'll be doing Magic the Gathering comics starting this winter. So, we got no Magic fans here because this is an announcement. They're going to be really excited, I promise. And the next slide is the first cover for the issue. And each issue is going to be coming with an exclusive playable card, and the art for the card will be used as the cover as well, and the card. And we've already got the card lined up for this one. And the first person to go to my Facebook wall or to tweet me, I'm Denton Tipton, and can guess what card this is going to get some sweet loot. So I won't tell you what that is, but just go to my Facebook or tweet me, and I'll let you know when someone guesses it. And that's pretty much it for that. We'll start doing the Q&A, or you got something else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I want to open the floor to everybody for questions, but before we do that, I thought I'd ask a question just because you're new and we didn't really get into your book yet. I was just curious if you want to talk a little bit about Transformers, like what brought you to them? Have you always been a fan? Like how did we first get working with you? We saw it a little bit, yeah. We started right.
Yeah, I haven't always been a huge Transformers fan. I mean, I was a fan when I was younger, and then I just kind of lost track of it. But John actually and Andy brought me in, and I started reading through Mike's scripts that they sent me, and it really brought a lot of it back. So it's been a lot of fun to work on, and sort of reacquainting myself with the characters. There was a point where I was doing some initial sketches for them to send to Hasbro to vet me as an artist and everything, and I started drawing Optimus Prime, and I started remembering how to draw Optimus Prime from when I was like 10, which was really, really bizarre. So there's obviously a life to these characters and a life to these stories, and it's really been a lot of fun to be a part of it again.
Yeah, I think like guys like you and Livio down there. I mean, I love working with guys like Nick Roach and Alex and all the kind of the classic Transformer guys we work with. But I think you guys bring something new and special that we haven't really had before. So it's certainly a welcome addition. Like Livio, the digital comics you'll be doing with Flint Dilley and Chris Metzen it's a whole other kind of thing. Getting the guy that created Warcraft along with Flint Dilley, who created animated Transformers, and then Livio doing the art on that thing, that's really going to be something special too. And we're really going to make sure this thing is tailored to digital platform first. So it's going to be something that isn't just a scanned comic on an electronic screen.
Real quick about Brendan. One of the things that makes him a great artist, particularly for the art that he's on, is that there are a lot of guys who draw Transformers really well, and there are a lot of great Transformers artists. Some of those guys don't draw people that well. I'm not going to say who, but it seems to be a discipline where you got to really draw really awesome machines, or you can draw anatomy properly. And Brandon's a guy that actually can do both. And so having him on the arc where we're sort of dealing with humans for the last time in a while, it was really great when I saw his art for the first time, because I had never seen his stuff before Andy sent me the pages saying this is our new artist on this arc. And it was really exciting, so I'm glad to have him. He's bringing something to the book that not a lot of people can.
You think that's why people don't like humans in the Transformers comics? All right, so let's get Q&A going. And I have to say, if you guys, if it's a good spirited Q&A, I might have another little thing to discuss before we clear up the room. So let's open the floor to questions for anything. Transformers, Joe, Hasbro, stuff in general, D&D. Yeah.
As far as the digital comic goes, once it's run digitally, will there be a print version of it?
Probably. The press release will probably say, digital only available in this format, and then a year later it might be print. I mean, it's still being figured out, and it's certainly being tailored to a particular format, electronic. But yeah, I mean, we're a print publisher, and I love print comics, so I would imagine that anything we do digitally is going to be out there in print too. Yeah.
I know there's a campaign to get Transformers restarted from the Marvel series as 81s. I'm just curious how that was going.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that online. It's they're very fervent in their desire to see that. But it's funny, when we were at BotCon, so that came up, and then there's a big push for Transformers animated based on the previous, not Prime. And we did an informal poll in the room. It was a big room, there's a few hundred people. We're like, okay, you guys today are going to decide the fate of this thing. So who wants Transformers 81 to come back? And there was some applause. And then we said, who wants Transformers animated? And the room exploded. We're like, well, you guys just, you might have decided here in this room today. So blame them. Yeah, so BotCon. Now anyway, I mean, we hear that, and I certainly appreciate the fan, enthusiasm for that one. And it's like anything we do, it's part of an ongoing dialogue of different things to do with Transformers.
Was anybody hoping that was going to be one of the ongoing